What is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. This is going to be a Scent Safari episode. For those of you who don't know how scent safaris work, basically I reach out to a house that I have some interest in. They send me some samples. I pick 4 of them out, and then I give you a legit first impression on them. And the way I do that, usually I pick 4, and the day that I do the video, I'll put these on my skin for the first time, wear them all day, and then right before I film the video, I'll sort of refresh them. So it really does give you a sort of day with the fragrances. I sort of see how they develop, but then I'm sort of also reminded of how they smell right at the top. And the house that we're looking at today is one that I'm super excited to look at. It is called House of Matriarch. This house has literally been on my radar for a couple of years now. A reviewer, a friend of mine, Joe Anthony, who stopped making videos, always sort of pushed this house. He was definitely, like me, big into indie scents. He was super supportive of my collaboration with 4160 Tuesdays. And then I know that House of Matriarch also had done some fragrances for Carlos, Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. They did some fragrances for his Peace, Love, and Perfume Facebook group. And then I was really recently stoked to learn that they had been picked up by Nordstrom. Whenever a smaller brand reaches that level of success, it makes me happy. So before we get into the 4 fragrances that I chose, let me give you some brand information on House of Matriarch. So this is a house out of Washington, and you see that Northwest and American Western sort of indie niche fragrance thing really taking off. I just did a video on Sonoma Scent Studio of Imaginary Authors, Slumber House, all these great houses, Juniper Ridge out of that area. So I think that's really exciting. But this house was started by a woman named Christy Michelle. She's the creative director, founder, scent strategist, and fragrance composer. She started this brand as a high-end perfumery rooted in the history of storytelling, magical and mystical ingredients, and the transmutive character of alchemical principles. It was started in 2009 with the goal of redefining fragrance for the 21st century. In the catalog, there are over 35 fragrances. Christy has won so many awards for her fragrances that it's literally hard to keep track of, and you can purchase these scents at Nordstrom or on their website, which of course I will link to in the description. I also just want to say that besides sending me this really nice sample box, which has 8 of their fragrances in it, you can see House of Matriarch, and they're all contained in this. You open it up and it's got 8 of these. Each one of these has a little sample in it, and it has some information about the fragrance, and you can pick these up for I think like $80, either on the website or I believe also at Nordstrom. But Christy also sent me a full bottle of Albatross, which is sort of a oceanic themed fragrance, and I'll be doing a full review on Albatross in the future. But we have 4 to look at today. The first one we're going to talk about probably gets the most critical acclaim of the 4, and it is called Coco Blanc. 15 ml of Coco Blanc will run you $120, 50 ml will run you $330, and 100 ml will run you $560. Note-wise on Coco Blanc are white chocolate, vanilla, masoya, which is a sweet wood notes, spicy chai notes, and a natural musk. And guys, this is so beautiful. The first fragrance that this actually reminded me of was one by Serge Lutton called Jeu de Pose Skin Games, which is sort of a milky caramel, sort of like a scalded milk fragrance. This one has so much more going on. I get the white chocolate in this one. I also get that masoya wood. Definitely chai. It has like chai, for those of you who know, sort of like a spiced Indian tea. I think there's cardamom in chai. But for me, I get like a caramelly, chocolatey, milky fragrance. And one thing I have to tell you about these fragrances is that they just go forever on the skin. It's ridiculous. I mean, these lasted all day, really full strength. So we'll talk about the prices in a little bit, but I just want to let you know these perform tremendously. And if you're looking for a gourmand, a milky, sort of different gourmand, I would definitely take a look at this one. The next one we're going to talk about is called Sex Magic. How could I not look at Sex Magic? Same pricing on all of these, so I just want to get that clear. And note-wise on Sex Magic is Gandhi root, Buddha wood, Damiana, evergreens, amber, oud, leather, Mysore sandalwood, pine wood, moss, violet, cedar blend, and choya. And man, this one is also, this one I get really, for me, it's about 3 notes. Well, it starts off green, actually. Let me say that. It starts off really green. I think I get the evergreens in this one, and the pine wood, and the moss. And as this one evolves, you start to get amber, and you get a really oody leather, but not like animalic, sort of very smooth and spiced. It smells really, really expensive. The blending on these is just absolutely fantastic. I have to say that. This is sort of herbal, but it's also ambery. It's green and it's leathery, and there's just the slightest, I don't think there's much oud in this. I think it's like a touch of oud. Then there's this floral, this purple floral thing going on, which I would think is from the violets. It's just a beautiful woody, ambery fragrance that's sort of green at the top. It's incredible. I don't think I've smelled anything like this one. The next one we're going to look at is called Devotion. Notes on this one are labdanum, ambergris, myrrh, oud, leather, ambrette, woods, tea, apopanax, spices, and vanilla. And this one is just a fantastic incense fragrance. You guys know that on my channel I like myrrh. I don't really like straight up incense, like liturgical incense. I do, but I feel like I have my incense fragrances and I'm just sort of sticking with them. And I have my myrrh fragrances that I really like as well. I really like, for myrrh, Prada, Pour Amber, Pour Homme Intense. I really like the one I got from Min. I forget the Memento by Min is, I think, a fantastic myrrh fragrance. But this one is really good too. And this one slowly opens up. At first it feels like really compact, if that makes sense. And then through the day it just becomes like more dispersed. The incense sort of becomes less concentrated. You start to get a little bit of a smoked tea note. The vanilla starts to come out, so it starts off really smoky, and then it just becomes much more nuanced. It's pretty magical, I have to say. And then there's this beautiful ambergris in this as well. I've had the pleasure of smelling real ambergris, and it smells nothing like you would think, and it just sort of has this sweet earthiness to it, and it's certainly here. And with the tea and the myrrh and the little bit of oud, as again, guys, the blending on these is just, it's fucking sick, like I have to say. The last one we're going to look at is called Madrona. And this one, really simple note breakdown. So this one has lavender at the top, cedar, C notes, and arbutus in the middle, and vetiver in the base. So my go-to lavender, and I think you guys know this, is Oxford and Cambridge by Check and Speak, a small English company that actually specializes in bathroom fixtures. But it's got 2 types of lavender, and it's really nice. I think I call it like English gentleman shit. This one, man, is like a transformer. It's like you get this beautiful dose of lavender at the top, and you could just tell the materials that Christy's using are just like, they're the real deal. This isn't like at all anything. These are as good as they get. And so you get this lavender at the top, and then this one just slowly starts to fade into, to me, a very rooty vetiver cedar fragrance. But it happens over like 6 hours. It's really incredible. It just slowly becomes rooty and earthy and woody. All of these just sort of move in a really special way. They're legitimately transformative, and it feels like they all do tell stories. So when I first got these, I'm going to be dead honest, because you guys know that's what I do. I was like, $330. I was like, you're up there with Creedy, you're up there with Amouage, you're up there with Sergio. Not quite with Raja. Raja is fucking making everyone look pretty affordable. But you're up there with those guys. And I was like, like, this might be hard. Might be hard for me to look at these and tell my subscribers, there's this good value here. But you know what? Like, this is good value. And the reason is because these fragrances perform just and I mean ridiculously. Like, these are as good performing, all 4 of them, and I have to look at the other ones as well, as anything I've ever smelled in my life. That's 100% a fact. Please, if you don't believe me, go try any of them. But I think the cooler thing than that is these are all so nuanced. There's nothing. These aren't what you see, what you get. These are, you have to explore these. You have to learn these. I'm probably not doing a good job of even giving you a summation because they're so intricate that it would take me a long time to fully grasp for these. So I hope when I do Albatross, which I'm going to take some more time with, I could do that justice. I feel like that'll be a little bit easier because these are all have so many layers to them, really with the exception of Madrona, which is a little bit more simple, but the other three are just. I mean, Coco Blanc is actually. Coco Blanc is actually. I don't want to say it's simple, but you kind of can understand it. The other two, Devotion and Sex Magic, are just like, man, they're like fucking Rosetta Stones. Like they're just. You really have to sit there, and I think it's really cool that this 8-sided octagon is what these come in because it does feel very puzzle-like, and I think that's what's awesome is when you can. Not just throw a fragrance on and smell good. I think if you want to do that, that's cool. I have Green Irish Tweed, I have Aventus, I have fragrances like that for those sort of occasions. But with that said, I think also when you're really into fragrance and when you care about fragrance, you want something that's going to challenge you. You want something that's going to, like I'm really into wine and I'm really into food and food pairings and stuff like that, wine and food pairings. And like you want like a challenge, you want to get to that next thing and have combinations you've never had before. And with this, I'm getting those accords and those notes. Like Christy is like a master, almost like a chef or an artist. That's really how I feel, just putting things together in a way that's special. And when you're using the top materials and you're putting this much care and this much effort into everything, you should be able to charge whatever you want. These are very clearly luxury products and they should be treated as such. So don't let the price scare you away. If you're interested in these guys, go out and take a look at them. You can get a sample set and that should last you a while because these perform just fantastically and there's so much to go through. And you need to spend a real amount of time and almost study these to really appreciate them. But with that said, you can just throw them on and know you're going to smell interesting and pretty good. So that's sort of my summation on House of Matriarch. We will be doing the full review on Albatross in a couple weeks. I'm going to link to House of Matriarch in the description. Check out their Instagram page, all that stuff. It's really just an enthralling house. I'm really happy I got to do this one. And let me know, guys, if you have any questions. And I'll see you later this week with more videos, guys. You already know what it is. My name is Maximilian.